Hey guys, how you doing? I published these two Amazon KDP books. This one cost me $1 to make, and this one cost me over 1,000. Which one made more money? Well, that's the question we're gonna answer in this video. So I wanted to see if by spending more money to create a book, we could guarantee more sales, and it sounds logical, right? So I decided to put that to the test, and the result of this experiment led me to creating both of these books that you see on screen. It's only fair that if we compare how much money they're making, that we also have a similar review count. As you can see, the low, no content book that cost me $1 has 131 reviews, and the other one, which is a high content book, has 118. So it's about the same. By the way, you can tell that the left one is actually no content or low content because it does not have a read sample button underneath it. They don't enable those for low content anymore, sadly. Anyways, let me show you the process of creation for both of these books. Let's start with the $1 book. For this, I decided to use 3 platforms. The first is ChatGPT, second, Canva, and third, Ideogram. And by the way, in case you didn't know, Ideogram is a text-to-image AI that creates amazing book covers. But more on that soon. Now, for creating this book, I decided to go with a very unusual approach. I decided to use ChatGPT to do some niche research, or at least to get some ideas that I can start proving and testing on the Amazon KDP search bar. I asked ChatGPT, hey, I'm creating a low content, no content Amazon KDP book to generate royalties. Give me some more obscure but profitable keyword ideas that I can go for. Keyword here being obscure. You don't want to go for the number 1,000 gratitude journal for women. I mean, that's just too saturated. Let's think outside the box a little bit. Or if you're like me, let's use ChatGPT to get some place to start our search for something more obscure. Anyways, I got some really nice niche ideas and niche keywords that I would have never thought about. And some of these are actually very interesting. So what I recommend here is that you start taking some of these keywords, you plug them into the Amazon search bar, and you see what the Amazon search bar recommends to you. You want to start filtering by publication date and seeing if there's any recent book with little to no reviews that is actually selling. That's a very good sign that the book may be selling well because it's actually a good keyword. Funnily enough, during this example that I'm showing you, I found a good keyword from the spot, which is divorce recovery journal. I'm gonna just copy this here and I'm gonna paste it into the Amazon search bar, and I want you to see the following thing. One of the telltale signs that a book is selling is when you have 1, 2, or 3 books with low review counts that are actually selling, that have some kind of BSR, 500,000 or less. And this book in particular, with only 5 reviews, has a BSR of 52,000, which is amazing. Anyone can create a divorce recovery journal tomorrow, get it to 10 reviews with an objectively higher chance of selling than this one. And this book sells 64 copies a month, which is not bad at all. So just take it into consideration. So guys, for the sake of this video, I'm not going to reveal the exact keyword that I found, but it was actually a journal, and specifically it was for teen girls. So let's pretend that it was a self-care for teen girls journal. I mean, it's kind of very close to what it actually was, but if I reveal the keyword, then I'm kind of giving away that money that I've made from that book. I don't want to reveal the keyword yet. It's still kind of obscure, you know? So yeah, thanks for being understanding. Anyways, now that I've found a really nice keyword, my self-care journal keyword, we can go on to Canva to create the interiors. As you know, most journals or planners are usually 6x9, so that's what we're gonna use for Canva. So here we are in canva.com, it's completely free to use. We're gonna go click here in custom size, and we're gonna choose inches, and we're gonna choose 6x9 inches. We're gonna create the interior, and this is actually the canvas in which we're gonna put in all of our material and create our manuscript. It's very simple to use, and you could add pages as you wish. Now in this case, we want to move a bit fast, so we're going to use a few templates. I'm going to click here on designs, make sure I'm in the templates tab, and I'm going to look for something along the lines of journal interior. Here's a few that I can use, but I really like this one. Now our book is going to be black and white, so I might as well change the color to white, so we have a white background, and I'm going to use this template for the majority of the pages. Also, something you want to do is make sure your content fits inside of the margins that you will find on each page in Canva. When you select your content and you try to resize it, you will see how this margin pops up, this purple margin, right? You want to make sure that all of your content fits inside of that. Now this little thing here is sticking out a little bit, so let me correct that. There we go. And let's try this again. All right, so we now have the first page of our template. What we can do next is populate the rest of the pages following the same pattern. Well, now I want you to copy and paste until content. Here's a pro tip. I recommend spending more time in your journal. You want to customize it as much as possible. Make it stand out, make it better. For instance, we can look for embellishments. You can choose borders like this one, and then we can copy and paste our template inside of this border, and we can make it look nicer. Hey, that looks really nice. That looks really cool. And again, we can duplicate this page as many times as necessary. So there, I added the title to the first page and then added a nice "this journal belongs to" page, etc. Once you're ready with your manuscript, simply click on download and make sure to choose the PDF print option for best quality, and that's it, we have our manuscript. Next, we're going to go to ideogram.ai and we're going to copy and paste something along the lines of this. Create a book cover for an Amazon KDP book titled Self-Care Journal for Teen Girls, and click on generate. If you don't have the pro version, this will probably take a minute or two, but that's okay. It used to be a bit faster before. Anyways, here we have the first iteration of covers that they gave us. They are not that bad. I really like this one, for instance, and we can actually save this, and there we go. We've saved our first image that we can use as a cover. Next, we're going to create the entire back cover. We have the front now, we're going to do the back side as well. For that, we're just going to go to the KDP calculator, just plug all of this information in that you see here. As we said, we're going to do 6x9, and our journal is going to be about 120 pages. We're going to calculate the dimensions, and there we go, we have this template. What we're going to do now is go back to Canva, and we're going to plug in these numbers here for width and height. Something I recommend is also downloading the template so we can use it as an image inside of Canva. This will help keep us in line. This will stop us from going past any borders. Okay, so once you have the template, just drag it into the canvas. We're going to expand this so that it fits the whole thing, and we're going to make sure that our cover fits inside of that right rectangle. So here we have it. We're just going to put it on top of that. Here we go, and we're just going to expand it all. You can trim if necessary, and there we go. And because it's a journal, for the back cover, we don't need to do anything too special. We can put it here, we can insert a little rectangle. And if you don't like this color, you can choose a different color by clicking on this little button and choosing, well, a color that's already on the front cover. And like always, we go here, we want to do PDF print and download that, and that's it. We've created a low content book at $0. Now in my case, my book cost $1 because I actually decided to purchase some Amazon KDP interiors in Gumroad. And there are many options that you can opt for that have just a $1 price, or they're $0. In this case, I purchased one for 99 cents. It was a little template that I wanted to use inside of every single page for my journal. So there we go. $1 cost. Now let's talk about the $1,000 book. Well, like any book, it needs a good cover and a good manuscript. But in this case, because it was a high content book with a lot of text, I needed to get it made because I wasn't going to write that myself. So what I did was I went to the Urban Writers. The Urban Writers are a ghostwriting company where you will find ghostwriters that have a lot of experience writing for Amazon KDP. And you're very likely to find someone that has already written a book about the niche you're in. That's why I liked it so much. Now, today they have an AI writing package, which is very cheap. When I actually got this book made, that didn't exist. So for me to write a 30,000 word book was costing me about $3.30 every 100 words. It's actually here, right? Rising package, $3.30 per 100 words. Well, that's what I used to write this particular book. Now, that's why I say that now is a great time to start publishing, because now they have an AI generated manuscript option where they combine AI and human writing at only $1.70, which is crazy. It's almost half the cost of what it was previously. But yeah, what can you do? This book that I got made was at 30,000 words at $3.30 each. Well, too late now. The book that I got made was in the self-help niche. It was 30,000 words at $3.30 every 100 words, which came about $990 for this manuscript to be written. But that's not all. Then we also had to create the cover. Now, I didn't want to spend like $200 on 1990 designs for that, which is the top high-end option. In my case, I decided to offer some Fiverr gigs. On Fiverr, you can actually get really good covers made if you know the right contacts. One of my all-time favorite gigs for this has always been Laudia, which is this person, Noor E, also previously known as Laudia. This $5 gig, which says I will design a professional book cover, ebook cover for $5, is the gig that I've used the most lifetime. And if you want the paperback version of your cover, you can just choose the $10 option, which is the standard option. So what I decided to do is I wanted to get my book cover made, but I wanted to have a few options. So I hired Laudia, but I also hired German Creative on the side. German Creative also has some really nice covers, and honestly, I don't remember which one of them I chose because they're both really good. But at a price ranging from $10 to $20, it's good to have a few options. So I got the cover made by two different designers at the same time, and then I chose the better one of the two. And that's the one I ended up using for my Amazon KDP book cover for the high content book. But that's not all. Because this is a high content book, most of the money it's going to make is going to come from audiobooks. So I did not want to miss out on that, and I got an audiobook made. At $100 per finished hour, and this audiobook lasting 3 hours, this cost me $300. So in total, we have the manuscript cost of $990 plus $300 plus about $35 for the covers considering transaction costs. And we have a total cost of $1,325 versus $1, which is what the other book cost me. Now let's look at the sales. It's time to see if this was all worth it. Was it worth it to create a book that cost over $1,000 versus one that cost me only $1 to make? Well, numbers don't lie, so let's look at that KDP dashboard. Now this is the moment of truth, guys. Are you ready? So let's start off with the low content book. In the last 90 days, it has made $1,776.78, combining sales from all marketplaces. And in the case of the high content book, it has only made $1,195 with 74 cents. It's not doing so good, right? Now, if we look at the ads, perhaps it's because I'm spending more on the ads for the low content than I am for the high content book. We'll see that right now. So I'm checking here the last 90 days for the ad spend for the high content book. And as we can see, it was $615. Now, if we do a quick math, that equates to about $580 net profit after ads in the last 90 days, which is actually not that good. Now let's see the ads for the low content book. We're gonna check out the spend here. Boom, as you can see here, the spend was $343.50, which means that the low content book has made $1,433.28 in the last 30 days. But wait, there's one thing that I'm missing, and it's the audiobook income from the high content book. Like I told you, the majority of the income was going to come from the audiobook, so we cannot miss that. So I'm looking at the last 90 days of total audiobook sales, and we have 241 total audiobook sales. Like on average, this audiobook makes me $4 if we average out the sales made in AL, ALP, and ALOP. If you don't know what that means, it doesn't matter, but if I multiply 241 times 4, it's about the audiobook income that I've made from this audiobook alone in the last 90 days. Now we have to add this to the equation to calculate which book made more money. Now we're gonna add 964 plus 580, which was the profit, and we have a total of $1,544, which is what the high content book made, including audiobook royalties, whereas the low content made $1,433 with 28 cents. That's crazy. That's really insane. Why is that crazy? Well, because we spend so much more money on making that high content book. Also, the process is much more difficult to make it because you have to talk with narrators. You have to read the entire book to make sure that you give correct feedback to the writers. There's a lot more work involved, but the income was about the same. And surprisingly, the low content book did really, really well. But that's also because I have years and years of experience in finding good keywords. And that's why I was able to spot a good low content opportunity like the one that you're seeing here. Now, from all of this, these are my conclusions. The more keyword research that you do, or the better you are at finding really good keywords, the less you need to compensate for making a very expensive book. And vice versa, if you're not good at finding good keywords, well, then you can take an average keyword, but if you're going to invest heavily in a book and you're going to convert it into an audiobook, then you have potential to make money regardless. So it really depends on that. Now, the best combination would be having both skills, being really good at keywords, but also spending a bit more money to get an audiobook made out of a high content book, because audiobooks will always do really well. And right now, 2025 is an era where audiobooks are still king. You don't want to miss out on them. In other words, if you don't have that much money to spend on this business, start with low content, start with medium content, but become really good at keywords until you have cash flow so that you can also invest in more expensive books. And as soon as you can, get into those more expensive books and invest into audiobooks, which is a great source of passive income. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed this video. I really enjoyed making it. I'm also getting the hang of this now, the whole YouTube video making process. I'm kind of starting to like it. If you have any questions, like always, leave them down below. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to make cheaper books, maybe $1 books, or would you prefer to invest more in books and to focus more on an audiobook or ACX strategy? Also, let me know that in the comments below. As you know, I'm creating a mastermind very soon. It's going to be a $2 mastermind where I want to unite very good publishers where we can hang out and we can share what's in the cutting edge of the publishing world. If you want to be on the wait list for that and be one of the first to join, then check out the description for the link. If you want to keep learning more about Amazon KDP and about making passive income online, then I recommend the following video.